Welcome to FAQs on yourpathologist.org, a series of videos where experts in pathology answer some of your frequently asked questions. I'm Venus Brady, and I'm joined by Dr. Marissa St. Martin. Dr. St. Martin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Yes. Again, my name is Marissa St. Martin. I am a pathologist. I'm board certified in anatomic, clinical pathologist, and transfusion medicine. I've been on the field for over 25 years, so that's a long time. And I am very excited to do this podcast today with the CAP. I thank you for this opportunity. I currently am sitting here in Florida, in Jacksonville, Florida. I am the medical director for One Blood, which is one of the largest blood centers in the country. And my office, again, is in Jacksonville.
Nice. Well, thanks for joining me today.
Mm-hmm.
And we are gearing up for January National Blood Donor Month. It's a time when we encourage all to donate blood, but obviously that comes with some very interesting questions. But first, I would like to ask you, why should people even consider donating blood?
Great question. And my first answer would be, if you want to be a hero, donate blood. When you donate blood, you are saving lives. So what could be a more important reason than saving a life, right? So that would be one. The second good reason is that blood, unfortunately, is not something that we can generate. We cannot manufacture it. We cannot create it. So far, we have no practical ways of supplementing blood or creating any kind of product that will basically replace blood products. So that's another good reason. And another reason for donating blood is like it's always needed. You may have heard those slogans that saying every 2 seconds someone in the US needs blood. It's always needed because it's perishable. So we cannot keep it forever. So we need a supply of donors to come regularly so we can have that blood products available for patients in need. And those patients in need could be any of us, right? It could be a pregnant mom, it could be someone in a car accident, it could be someone having to deal with cancer, and we are supporting them with blood products through their chemotherapy treatments. So we could not practice medicine without blood. So those are all really excellent reasons. And we can talk more about the benefits for the donor maybe a little bit later, but I wanted to give you at least these 3 most important reasons.
Yeah, those are all great reasons. And I didn't even know about the every 2 seconds needing of blood. So yeah, that's very important.
Yeah.
To some of our questions, it's said that people are hesitant to donate blood because of a fear of fainting. So what should people do to avoid fainting after donating blood?
Yeah. Common question, actually, because a lot of people hear about, the side effects. We always, as humans, tend to focus on the negative news more than the positive news. So I want to just make everybody aware that the majority of the donations in this country are safe. Donations are taken in medical facilities where everything is sterilized. There is no risk of contracting any infectious diseases or anything like that. And, fainting is one of the risks of just having fluid taken out of someone's vein. So what people can do is really have a good meal before coming to donate. So eat a good breakfast, avoid alcohol, avoid smoking, and definitely drink lots of fluids, because what we're gonna be taking is about a pint of blood, and blood is consistent of water, fluid, and then all the cells, the red cells, the white cells, the platelets that are there. So having a good meal and being well hydrated for the prior 24 hours would be a good way of avoiding any kind of lightheadedness and things like that. But again, I want to say that the majority of the donations in this country go through without any side effects. That it could happen, of course, nothing is 100% sure, but it's rare.
Yeah, for sure. So we're in the winter season, and it's also the seasons of vaccinations. Between the flu shot and COVID-19 boosters, can people still give blood if they've recently received a vaccine?
Okay, we have, and this is maybe like a little complicated answer. If we are talking only about the flu vaccines and the COVID-19 vaccines, absolutely people can come and donate the day that they had the vaccine. You know, as soon there is no deferral for these vaccines. The reason is because these vaccines do not have live viruses. Also, there is some misconceptions out there thinking that, you know, whatever the vaccine components that were given to maybe a potential donor will go to a patient. That is not true. That is not true. Nothing of the vaccine is going to go to that patient receiving that blood from that donor. Now, there are other vaccines in which we utilize partially attenuated microbials or partially attenuated viruses. And in those cases, there are certain types of deferrals, but we will ask the donors those questions and then we'll defer them appropriately. But for particularly the COVID-19 vaccine and the flu vaccine, there is no deferral. Everybody can come and donate.
That's great to know. Mm-hmm. Another one of those interesting questions we saw was about people who think that they need all of their blood, so they don't have enough to share. So do we indeed have enough blood to share and donate?
Yeah, we definitely need all the blood that we have. That is a true statement. However, our body is constantly renewing that blood. So we are okay to spare a little bit, a pint of blood, you know, to give someone else and save their lives potentially, and potentially save 3 lives. Because we can split that unit of blood into 3 components, and from the plasma, we can get even a 4th component. So a blood from one donor could go to 4 different people. So just think about the potential of that. Now, our bodies, our bone marrow, which is the organ that produces all the cells that go into the blood, is constantly generating these blood cells. So it's actually a good, nice stimulus for the bone marrow when some blood is taken out or released, and then, you know, the bone marrow generates more. It's also a very good way of keeping your iron deposits in balance, you know, in check. So yeah, we need our blood, but we are okay to spare it, and it actually could potentially be beneficial for the donor.
Nice. And actually, that's one of the other questions. Are there any other health benefits to donating blood?
Yes, actually there are. And maybe I'm going to start with the physical first, which is this keeping the iron deposits in a balanced way in our system. If we have too much iron, that could cause problems over time. So having that iron kind of removed and being checked for it every time you come to donate is a good way of knowing if the iron is increasing or we are, you know, okay in our levels. The other thing that happens is that when we donate blood, I said it before, we stimulate the bone marrow to produce new cells, and that's a good thing. Another thing that could happen is like when we have like a high fluid balance, releasing a little bit of that fluid is okay too. There are some studies, they are saying that maybe blood pressure changes, like decreasing blood pressure could happen. There is not a lot of data, actual data to support that, but you know, some studies are out there saying this. And last but not least, I wanna really emphasize the benefits that donation of blood, and for that matter, really all donation, brings to the person that is giving that gift. You're not only feeling that you're giving the gift of life, but you feel like you're giving back to your community. So there is a sense of belonging, of well-being. You have a lot of psychological positivity after donating blood, which makes you feel happy. If you ask any donors, blood donors or donors of other things, donors of time and, you know, volunteers for everything, they are usually have a more positive outlook in life. They feel happier. They feel more positive overall. And with that, of course, it brings less stress. And maybe that's the benefit a little bit about that lower blood pressure, because we do know that lowering stress decreases blood pressure and anxiety.
That's amazing. I'm ready to like go sign up to donate now.
Yes.
But back to our FAQs. What about folks who think their blood isn't good enough? So is it true that our blood may not be good enough to donate because of illnesses or diet or lifestyle?
In some occasions, yes, but it's the more rare occasions. I'm going to say that about 38% of the population that is eligible to donate, meaning they have no diseases, they have responded all the questionnaire and all the questions match, and then we test them and everything is negative. Of 38% of the eligible population, about 5 to 7% actually do go through the donation process. So the way we practice medicine in this country depends on about 5 to 7% of the population, these generous donors that keep coming back and keep giving the gift of life. I want to say that, yes, there are occasions in which someone could be deferred from donating, being sick, having some types of medications, etc. But we will check all of that during the questionnaire time, and then we will definitely test the blood from certain infectious diseases. All blood is needed, and maybe this is a good opportunity to talk about this. Even though we may feel that we are not, worthy of donating our blood, I want to say this: all blood is needed. African American communities and Hispanics, like me, communities, we are very underrepresented in the donor pool. And that's because, again, a lot of misconceptions, a lot of fear about donating blood. However, I want to say that the more genetically similar we can match that donor and that patient, the better it is for the patient. So when we are giving back to our community, to people that are, have similar ethnicity to us, because we try to match those antigens and antibodies that the patient donor may have. So all blood is needed, and if you're not sure, you can always pull a questionnaire online and then see what questions they would ask, and that will give you an idea if you are a potential donor or not. But if you are in doubt, call the donor center. All donor centers, including mine, we are always here to respond to all the questions and try to answer all those questions so the donors feel comfortable coming in.
And so when a donor goes in, you mentioned the questionnaire. Will they have to do any other things before donating?
Yeah, well, we talk about how to prepare not to faint, right? But yes, I mean, we will definitely require that the person that is coming to donate is at least, in some states, 16 years of age with parental consent. Those donors can donate, if not 17 and older, and there is no upper limit for donating blood. We want the person to be about 100 or maybe at 110 pounds or over. And this is because we're taking a pint of blood. We cannot take a smaller amount and then give it to a smaller person, right? We take this standard amount. So we don't want to cause any harm to that donor. And when the donor comes, we're going to check, we're going to do a mini physical. So that's another benefit from donating blood. Every time you come, your blood pressure, your pulse, your respirations is checked. Many centers offer cholesterol check, with the blood that we are taking. We also check your hemoglobin to make sure that red cells, iron levels are stable and is safe for that person to donate. And we are going to ask the questionnaire, which is long, and we ask questions about travel, about other diseases, about sexual conduct. We had to do all of that, not because we're just curious, but it's because we need to be absolutely sure that the blood that we're going to give to a mom having a baby, a neonate, someone that already has cancer and needs that blood, is absolutely safe for them to receive. So we'll ask those questions, and we trust that the donors are coming voluntarily and that they will be completely honest in responding those questions. And then in addition to that, that blood, after it's donated, if everything matches, if everything is good, that blood is going to be tested for infectious diseases that the FDA mandates.
Okay, so it's very safe to donate and receive the blood. So
yes,
that's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
Our last question here is about limits. So how often can people donate blood?
Yeah. So if a donor is donating for the first time, most likely he or she will be donating whole blood. And whole blood is just a pint of, we call it whole blood because it has everything. It has the plasma, the red cells, the white cells, the platelets. The plasma has all those coagulation factors. So we use all those components in different situations. If a donor is coming and donating 1 unit of whole blood, they need to wait at least 58 days to donate again. Why we are doing this? Because we're giving the body a chance and the bone marrow a chance to replenish all those cells that we took. And that happens much more faster than the 56 days, but we want to be absolutely sure. And we will, every time the donor comes, we will check the hemoglobin. So we will not take anybody that has a lower hemoglobin and potentially could cause harm to the donors.
Well, that's amazing. There's so much information, great information that I'm going to put into use. And those are all the that we have today. Would you like to add anything else?
Yeah, actually, I'd like to add a couple more things, because sometimes donors become platelet donors after they donate whole blood for a few days. Platelets are our most precious resource in the sense that they expire within 7 days of collection. So we need to keep those platelets coming from donors and keep them fresh for those patients that have coagulation problems and cannot produce them, or something is going on, including trauma, accidents, etc. So if someone is donating platelets, they can donate every 7 days up to 24 times a year. And if someone is donating plasma, I know that some people go and donate plasma even for centers that produce pharmaceutical products from it. It's about once a month, once every 28 days.
And is the process the same for platelets and plasma?
It's not. So
okay.
Donating whole blood is basically a needle in the arm, and by gravity, we take 1 pint of blood. If someone wants to donate what we call a double red cell, which is we're taking just the red cells, or if we are taking just the platelets, or if we're taking just the plasma, we use a process called apheresis. And basically the blood goes through a machine, and we take that machine, separates the components, and we just take what we need, and everything else is returned to the patient.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have for today. I again like to thank you for joining us and offering your expertise and answering some of the frequently asked questions about blood donations.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. And again, donating blood is a very safe procedure. And I hope this encourages people to, learn more about it and maybe pay more attention now in January when it's National Donor Day or month.
Great. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you.